is, it's like 18 past 5 in the morning. I get up. Excuse the stuff on the table. We've been redoing the utility area, so the kitchen table's a bit of a mess. Got a product review to do with these things. I buy these every year. They kind of disappear. They end up going camping, people take them and stuff. But these head torches are bloody brilliant. I get this on charge on the way to Richmond this morning. As you can see, it goes on your head. There's a little side torch here, and then the main strip is there, and it comes with a little cable to charge up via USB. So I bought these on eBay. I got 10 of them for £33. So I've got it so that the camera light doesn't come on, and again, that's just the head torch by itself. For what it is, it certainly delivers quite a bit of power. So it's a shadow of the phone, look. So yeah, put it on the little charger thing in there, that little red light comes on to tell you it is charging. Why is it garages sell virtually nothing to do with cars these days? Want a sponge? I haven't got one. If you want a sponge, don't go to an MF's food garage. Yay! So we're back in on the job. That's the stuff that we top coated yesterday in yesterday's video. It's drying out already. They've had the thingy bob running all night. It's taken out quite a lot of water. That was empty. That's how much water it's taken out the air. So I think today we are going to be top coating again. And this was floated yesterday by the other boys. There's a couple of bits in there, a bit this. There's just the board work in there. There's the exterior wall here. And there's an exterior wall here. Not sure if there's anything more upstairs, but we'll get on with that for now, I think. One good thing about using these rendery sort of products with lots of sand in them is they really clean the bottom of your trousers up. And you see all that build up coming off from yesterday. Okay, so one thing to take some attention to here, because we've got a combination of multi-finish and this finish, and we want it to kind of be the same. So as this dries out, and where we sponged it up, you can feel the grainy bits of sand on top. Now, just prior to, when it's dry, just prior to painting, I advise the customer to just give this a brush and get all those loose bits of sand off there, which will really help mute it down, because otherwise what's going to happen is when you start putting your roller and your paint on there, the roller's going to start collecting up those grains of sand, and it's going to start getting into the paint, and it's going to make the paint textured, and you're going to be gluing those grains of sand to the wall. So yeah, it's just prior to painting, definitely brush off all the loose bits of sand, just get it nice and flat. I mean, if it wasn't because if we didn't have multi-finish going on at the same time, it wouldn't be such an issue, and you might like a textured look to it. But we're going for flat, so if that's what they want, then definitely brush those bits off. So also in here, the customer's asking me, should she get the dehumidifier running in here? Because we can see in the light that it's still damp. And I'm saying, well, there's not much point in stripping all the moisture out because we need to mist it back up again prior to putting the top coat on. So what's the point in stripping all the moisture out of the wall and then putting some back in again, wasting all that electricity. So if you're going to run your dehumidifier, it's probably better to wait until the top coat's been done, then get it in here and start stripping the moisture out of it. Yeah, so we're mixing up the lime render stuff. I did a video yesterday. That's the stuff we're using, and this is the top coat. So we've gone. It doesn't go off as fast as the base coat inside the bucket. So we've gone for a couple of bags this time. I'm going to see how far that gets us. Goes on to 1 to 2 mil thick. It does take a lot of knocking up. You think you've got the consistency right, and then you spin the whisk. To get the lumps out of it, and it seems to wet up again, so you keep like adding a little bit more, adding a little bit more. It is quite labour intensive to knock up, and it's really eating the battery power of the DeWalt mixer there. Okay, so a couple of bags, it's just done that, it's got this wall and this wall in. So yeah, just to recap, it's like plastering with floor levelling compound. That's what it feels like, that's what it goes on like. And we've been flattening in as we've been going, and it's we're kind of getting used to how it feels and how it goes on. But one of the reasons this is going on as nice as it is because the floating coat has been done really, really well. If there's any holes to be filled, there was a little dig over here. This top coat needs to go on really, really regularly. So if there's any deep holes, there was one there. We'll see how that goes. Somebody had caught it with their trowel, a big triangle out of it here. It's going to sag. So I think that is the key thing. You know, like I always say, get that first stage, the floating stage, get that done properly, and that should make this so much easier, which it is. So I think the process we're going to use is, because it says to wait at least 60 minutes between coats, so there's 2 of us here, so I guess really what we're going to do is we're going to just be putting on for an hour, and then we're going to turn around and put the second coat on. Now, from using this yesterday, I'm thinking we might get one thing out of the way. So I was sponge floating, the first coat before putting the second coat on, and I think I was pulling it back a little bit too much. So I think what we'll do is we'll cut that stage out, because the ripples are so minor, and because we were used to it yesterday, I think if there is any ripples, they will come out. It will come back to life. So you do get a big window of opportunity of getting back on this and getting this sort of like under control, even if it looks like it's gone off quite a lot. So the method we are going to be using today is putting on for an hour, turning straight back round, laying that down with another tight coat, keeping an eye on that, let that pick up. Then we're probably going to give it 2 rubs up with the rubber sponge float. So that's what I mean when I say that, the one from Wix, which is a bit thinner and the foam's a bit denser. I really like these ones, and we've treated ourselves to some brand new sponges from the garage, as you saw earlier this morning. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. If there's any difference in that process, if I find any troubles, then we'll get back to you and let you know. But that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep putting on for now. I quite often get asked why I use such a big trowel, a 20-inch. And what I've noticed using this stuff, it's come in really handy. So let's say we've got it on a hook, we've just loaded our trowel up. We've loaded up that much gear onto there. When we actually squeeze that onto the wall, this reduces down and it actually goes on more like this. And because I've got so much overhang over the edges here of the trowel still left over, you can really feather those edges out. If my trowel was this long, then what's going to happen is the gear is going to splay and it's going to cascade over the back of the trowel, cause lumps, and then start dropping on the floor. I mean, this principle works well with multi-finish as well, but where this gear is so slimy and quite tricky to handle in its wet state, yeah, I find this longer trowel is really able to keep things clean, and I can get nice sweeps on there without it all you know, falling over the toe and falling over the back. It's really stretching out all the way along the trowel as I'm squeezing the stuff onto the wall. So what we've done, we've this first hit that we got on, we've laid that down with a really tight coat. Like I say, it's more of a case of feeding this second coat into the first coat rather than putting another coat on. So what we was doing with the trowel, we was laying it on and then opening the trowel up, almost like we're troweling up, and really making it go along. We just put the tiniest thin coat on top, and then that's pulled in really quickly, and what that's allowed us to do is get straight back onto it, because yesterday where we put the second coat on so thick, we was kind of waiting for it before we get back on the sponge float. So with this thing, it delivers a really good amount of water and a nice average as well without it getting all over the floor. And then we're able to get straight back on it with the sponge float, and we're just really working it so you can feel that sponge float hydroplaning across the surface, and we're just livening up that top millimetre. So what it's doing is livening up that top millimetre, and it's taking out any ripples, smoothing out just much the same way as a regular float would. So we're just going to continue coming around doing this for now. Look here, so that initial sponge float has given it this sort of texture, and I kind of feel we can get a regular sponge over this now. Let's go. Immediately gone over that with a regular sponge. The nice brand new sponge. So let's have a look, see if we can see that texture, if I can get out the shadow. I'm trying to watch what I'm doing through the camera. I think we've got it. Okay guys, so we changed the technique slightly today. Kind of really feel we're getting the hang of it now, especially where speed is concerned. So what we did this time is we put that first coat on. We put it on, as it said, and we used a 20-inch trowel to flatten it in. Then we let that pick right up. That was after we dampened down the floating coat. We let that pick right up, and then we didn't touch it because yesterday I think we was kind of messing around, made a bit of a meal out of it, wasn't too sure. So left that first coat alone, flattened it in, left it to pick up, went straight back over it with the second coat, and we put it on so tight. So it, you know, it was like wiping it on and then opening the trowel and scraping it off, got it on as tight as we could. That really sped up the time for it to be setting, because yesterday we was waiting for that second coat to go off. So as soon as we got through and done these two walls with a real tight coat, we was able to turn straight back round, and then with the pressure sprayer, get back and float, sponge float all the surface up all the way along, and we sponge floated all the way across, and then we was able to get straight back on with the sponge and sponge it. And then again, like I say, if there's any little stubborn areas, just a slight mist up with the hand pump there thing, and that just brought back anything where it's just slightly to dry a little bit, and it's gone in really well. So literally, like I say, just to repeat, first coat on, nice and flat, second coat on, nice and flat, really tight, turn straight back round, one sponge float, and then one sponge. And that's the sort of finish we're getting, and we'll come to the reveal there. I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably sponge that again. I think that's adequate, really. It's nice and flat, which is the main thing. When that gets painted up, you know, that's going to mute down even more. So yeah, can't really feel like I've got the hang of it. Doing it 2 days now we're experts. But the real trick of getting this, I kind of feel this second coat thing is really easy. As long as you've got that floating coat down, you've got to make a really good job of that floating coat. Otherwise, because you've got no slim to no chance of getting any depth on with this. If the floating's a little bit holy or anything like that, and you need, or it's a bit bendy, you need to pack out. It's not like you can with multi-finish give it like 3 coats or something like that, and maybe knock up a little bit thicker and put it on thicker. And that's not going to happen. That floating coat has to be perfect so that this goes on at the millimetre depths that it requires. Otherwise, it's just going to go off too sporadically for you. It's going to be slumping. You just got no control over it. So if you're going to have a go at this and you're not very good at floating, best you get good at floating. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do this. Cheers for watching, guys. We've got another couple of walls to get down. We're going to get out of here. So yeah, really kind of feel like enjoyed it a bit more today because kind of like knew what we was doing. So yeah, I'll do it again. Yeah, it's all right. It's good. Right. I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. So take it easy and see you soon.